All right, blessings, everyone. Blessings. Good to see you all tonight. We're grateful to be here um, on this last parasha of, actually the last parasha in Genesis. And we are looking forward to wonderful discussion about the ending of the book of Genesis. We went quite a while. This parasha is the closing of the book of Genesis, as I said, but also it really takes a look from Adam to Joseph. I want us to think about that, going from Adam to Joseph. And, we think about, how should I say, we think about all the different things that have gone on from Adam to Joseph. And we think about how Yah had a great plan for Adam and Eve, and they messed that up. And then we read about Noah. We read about Noah and how the Lord saw that everyone on the planet was doing wickedness, and the Lord had to actually destroy all living except Noah and his family, to start over, to have a new beginning. And then we read about Abraham, the faithful. Abraham, the faithful. And so we read about that, and it seemed like the individual, Abraham, kind of got back to the plan that Yah had for his people. However, after Abraham, we began to see all the different ways in which not Israel, but Isaac and Jacob. We had the battle between Isaac and Esau. It did end quite well between those two. But then, we see Joseph and his brothers begin to have the same wicked heart. And so from Adam to Joseph, we see some things. And I do want to ask a question. Just to kick it off. Last week, I kind of gave my own take on the unity that we saw. But today I want to talk about secrets. We'll talk about secrets. And the one that comes to mind comes from the book of Genesis. And it really deals with, and I'm wondering, guys, did, after Isaac dies, and Isaac is leaving his sons, he blesses all of his sons. I'm wondering, did Isaac know about how his brothers treated Joseph? I wonder, did he ever figure that out? Or did his brothers keep that a secret from him? It's a very interesting thing that when people are on their deathbed, some people begin to speak the truth. And if you notice, in all the blessings that Isaac gave all of his sons, I'm curious to know, what kept coming to my mind was, did they know about Joseph? Did Isaac die? Did he go to his deathbed knowing how his brothers treated him? Because remember, Isaac, one of his last wishes on his deathbed was to pass on blessings to all his children. And I'm wondering, did Isaac know about the wickedness that his brothers treated Joseph with? I don't know. And also, was Joseph waiting for the opportunity just for his father to die so that he could seek revenge on his brothers? That's a thing that's huge when a parent is going to pass away. The one thing, even before a parent passes away, they want their children to be able to get along, to be able to love, and to pass down that love to the next generation. Unity in the family, when so many families, guys, have so many secrets and so many just cliquish individuals that go against the will of Yah. They individual members of the family. Some of them, they say that one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. There's always that one individual in the family that has been treated in an unfair way. And sometimes people pass away without even knowing the truth about their own family. And so I'm just curious. About that. That kind of stuck out to me. I'm not giving my opinion on the text like I did last week, but I'm just raising this one specific question about all of these things that happened to Joseph before Isaac passes away. And so that's kind of my understanding of the parasha. One of, not my complete thought, but one of them. And so what say you? What's
Hey,
your
blessings,
blessings?
brother. Hey, did you when you said Joseph? Hey, were you referring back? Did you mean Jacob? Because I know you was using Isaac.
I mean Jacob, thank you.
Okay.
Jacob, yes.
And your question was
Did Jacob go to his deathbed not knowing the secret of how his brothers treated Joseph?
oh, that's a good question. I believe he did know. Um, that's it's a good question. I mean, the text isn't. Then I haven't seen that in the text, but I'm thinking that the Most High would have revealed. You know, he probably revealed it to him, or he probably didn't. But at the same, yeah, that's a good point though. Maybe they just kind of kept it away because maybe he would have went down the shield holding some type of being upset at his maybe during the curses. I mean, maybe during the blessings and maybe during the prophesying, maybe he would have brought it up and made some adjustments on those what's it called, the birthrights, and make it and started. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't know. Maybe that would have because he already had problems with Joseph, and then what happened to Joseph and then Benjamin, right? And so I think that would have been too much on him to know that. I don't think he would have been able to handle that at his age. That's just my take on it, because he was hurt. That hurt him real bad, and then next he found out he was alive,
Right.
and then to know that happened. Either he would have had an issue with somebody, or he would have brought it up, or it would have. I don't think none of the sons would have wanted him to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even mentioned. It's not even like it didn't even happen. As far as
I don't think he knew.
Jacob, go ahead.
I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
There's no way they were going to confess to that. They brought back his colorful coat that was made for Joseph in animal blood. They this whole drawn out situation to convince him, because they didn't even know what happened to him. There's no way that they would have confessed that they did something to him. There's no way. It wouldn't make sense. because they did an elaborate scheme to make him think that he was dead, but they had no idea that he was still alive.
Yeah.
So their plan, because of Reuben, was they wanted to kill him. Reuben said, no, let's sell him to the to the Egyptians. I don't remember who, but the other people came along and sold him. So there's no way. And not only that, as soon as their dad died and they went and buried him, they got afraid. Oh my God, is he gonna take revenge on us now? There's no way.
Right.
Because it would have came up.
Right.
It would have came up. And I mean, it makes me think back to when he spoke about the division that happens with family, because he was a favorite. He was a favorite because he loved Rachel. He wanted Leah in the beginning. He worked him 7 years and then got tricked. Then he had to work another 7 years. And then, all that stuff happened with, he had all these kids before he ended up having his baby with Leah. And then she died like early. They only had those two. There's no way that he knew.
Okay.
And they couldn't tell him. Right? Reuben couldn't even go back. Like, please don't send me back to my father without Benjamin. Do you understand?
Right.
What is gonna take place? Like, my father will not be able to take this. And he knew what he did was wrong in the first place. So yeah, there's no way that he knew. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
He died not knowing.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about secrets, taking these secrets to the grave. And sometimes though, it's better. Let me ask this. Do you guys think it would have been better think about yourself though, when I'm asking this question, would it have been better for Jacob to have at least known the truth about what happened so that he could have understood his family and understood how to bless them, how to direct them? Now that he knows this truth about them, he could have blessed them in a way that really could have spoke to the wickedness that's in the family. Why is it? Well, here I'm asking another question. But why is it that we keep secrets from people in our family? There are family secrets that go unspoken of for years and years. And imagine the pain that Joseph could have been through, going through all of those things and being his whole experience almost being killed by Potiphar because of his wife, and thinking about what his brothers did to him. And then he rose to prominence in Egypt, second in command. And then he helped out his entire family and then the Egyptian Pharaoh gave Jacob a whole funeral procession and allowed them land in Goshen, and was able to live in a land that the Lord didn't promise, but the Pharaoh allowed Joseph to go and bury his father in Canaan. And I don't know, these family secrets though, they keep just I don't know, it's something about not knowing. And I'm sure, so my question is, would you have wanted to know something in your family that people have been keeping a secret? And should children confess the truth? We want our children to confess the truth to us. We don't want our children to hold secrets from us.
I want to go at that first.
Yeah,
I want to take that. And so I would say, I think it was very commendable for Joseph. I believe for Joseph keeping it from his father, because they were very sensitive with like again, like how Benjamin is like, where's the boy? Is he okay? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like keeping, I think maybe in maybe in Israel's, Jacob's a younger age. I mean, when he was like probably early on, if they had the best time for him to have known would have been right when it happened. But I think in his older age, I think they know that they want to preserve the father. They want to keep him, him mentally healthy, even though he's suffering and he's older. They don't want to have any heavy weight on him. And I think that would have. I believe that they all knew that he wouldn't be able to handle that. That would have been too much on his mind. Already, he's worried about keeping Benjamin close, right? And like, I don't know what would happen if I lost. So imagine just thinking about that as you were, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think he would be able to handle it. So I think they did the right thing in keeping that. And I think I also have I do share a similar situation where there's something about my mother wouldn't be able to handle. And, that's all I'm going to say. So I do that because I know that even though, I don't think it wouldn't even benefit for her. It just knowing, I just know my mom. And so I would say for myself that I'm doing her. I know how she handles certain things. I'm just doing her the best. So I believe I'm doing her justice and actually not because it's best to certain things are just best because what happens is it will keep them they'll keep them, especially at older. It's something about older people. So it'll keep them and knowing them too. Like it keeps them at a better place than them having to deal with something, some information that could, trouble them or that was troubling from the past. I just know that you say the next, you then you see a different person. Then it's like maybe you're more, you process it or you dealt with it and you moved on with it. But then for certain people, especially if you know them, some people hold on to certain things. Especially if you know that, and then they'll end up just continue holding on to it and just like thinking about it all the time, knowing that they're not like you. So, yeah, I would just say that I think it was good that they did that for their father's sake. So to give him as he was checking out, so that he wouldn't have that on him. And also when he says giving off the blessings, going back to the other question about would he really give them accurate blessings? I believe during that time in Genesis chapter 50, I think it was 50, right? Around 50 or 49, he was blessing them. But a lot of that during that time also, the Yah he was prophesying over them too. So the Lord was telling them exactly what to say. So I think what he was saying was exactly what they need to hear. And I mean, honest with you, I even believe, this is my take, I believe y'all didn't even want Jacob going to his grave knowing that. Like, just to give him, because what he says, what did y'all say? He says, Joseph will close your eyes. He wanted him, he cared about Joseph. He didn't, he cared about Israel. He didn't want Jacob going down the Sheol with some heavy weight. He said he wanted him to know that this is how I want you to check out. I want you to know that Joseph's to close your eye. So it's like everybody want him to have this peaceful way of dying, then to have some weightier things on his mind. So yeah.
And the reason why I say that, guys, is because I'm thinking about David in 1 Kings chapter 2, when David was giving some blessings also. He